defer to our lawyers to give me good advice on the Constitution. I do not pretend to be a constitutional lawyer. I'd be glad to get you that answer in writing. There's some very detailed legal analysis and also a variety of statutory language, so I'll be sending that back right away.
Okay, because it appears, and I'd just be curious if you would agree, that essentially the IRS is amending the health care law through the regulatory process.
No, I don't think that's accurate at all, but I will send you the statutory references and the legal interpretation.
Okay, because if the law provides it's only federal, it's only allowed for the state-run exchanges.
I will be happy to answer this question in detail. It has been analyzed and looked at. You may disagree with the analysis, but I will be delighted to get you the language in the statute and the legal interpretation of that language.
Okay, because those of us in Congress, I think, get a little defensive when our constitutional authority to write tax policy is taken away from us and imposed through a regulatory agency.
Let me begin by saying I'm not a lawyer, and I'm leaving those arguments to our legal team from the Department of Justice, but I think there are certainly lots of talented constitutional lawyers who feel that the Commerce Clause very much is broad enough to cover the interstate commerce of health care. That the two judges that have ruled that this law is constitutional find to be well within the scope of the Commerce Clause.
The individual mandate penalty, is it a tax? Yes or no?
I am not a lawyer, so I'm not equipped to answer that question.
So when the OMB director stated before the House Budget Committee that the individual mandate penalty is not a tax, President Obama has publicly stated that it is not a tax, yet your legal briefs in the Supreme Court case in writing have submitted on your behalf, because you're a named defendant in that proceeding, the practical operation of the minimum coverage provision is as a tax law. Do you agree with your attorney's assertion to the Supreme Court that it is a tax provision?
I think it operates the same way a tax would operate, but it is not per se a tax.
Okay, so it's not a tax, but it operates as a tax. That's your testimony to us.
I am not a lawyer. I do not want to try and quote the legal briefs. I would defer to my legal team, and I'm not really going to try and parse this back to our lawyers. I do not pretend to be a constitutional lawyer. I am not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I defer to our lawyers. I do not pretend to be a constitutional lawyer. I am not a lawyer. I'm not